keep going. That's what we need to do.
Another week again, it's not guaranteed. Keep punching him in the face. DeMarcus. Don't get satisfied. Let's go.
The AT&T Stadium crowd is making a lot of noise.
Right now, make him.
I hope for the same thing.
It is as spectacular this place.
Come on, take the ball away, bitch. Let's go now.
Cowboys on 3. Make it loud. 1, 2, 3.
Cowboys.
Welcome in to another edition of Cowboys Flashback, where the Cowboys are now 3-2 after a 34-24 loss to the Green Bay Packers, their second loss in a row. I'm Dani Sureck. The Cowboys tried to combat an early deficit. The Packers scored 14 points in the first quarter, 17 in the first half. Quarterback Dak Prescott says the Cowboys put themselves in a deep hole, and it's tough to come back against a team as sound as the Packers. Prescott did have a career-high 463-yard passing game, second in franchise history to only Tony Romo with a 506-yard passing game. However, Prescott says that personal achievement doesn't mean much to him if the team doesn't get the win.
I had three interceptions. I don't care how many yards I had or anything else like that. 3 interceptions on a loss. I don't care what career high I have. None of that matters. And Amari's saying that, I think, is an example of a lot of guys in our locker room, a lot of guys in our team who look in the mirror before they point fingers. And as long as we have those type of guys on our team, we're going to be fine. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to be able to take things like this, take them on the chin, learn from them, and get better because of it, simply because of that attitude.
5 weeks after the season, where do you think you guys stand as a team?
Yeah, I mean, a team that's got to get better and got to start fast on offense. Got to play better complementary football than we have these last two weeks. And but there's a lot of football to be played. Definitely a lot of football to be played. A lot of plays to be made, and we're not shy of making them. We're not backing down. As I said, we'll take this one on the chin. We're gonna take the good, take the bad. We're gonna learn from it, and hopefully we'll look back at this and say this was a turning point, or this was good for us.
As the quarterback and the leader, after Amari has that kind of drop, what do you say to him? Or
I mean, I could have put the ball two more inches in front of him, or whatever it is. That's a great player. I mean, sure, he had that drop, but you go back and you look at the rest of the game, the plays he's making, the catches he's making, catches that double move and makes 2 guys miss on the sideline. You tell him let it go, so he can come back and do exactly what he just did. And we have those type of players that we're not going to sit there and hound on one mistake, because we know that they're very prideful in that, and they're going to look in the mirror and blame themselves first before they say, hey, Dak threw that a little bit behind me. Yeah, simply that right there. Tap him on the back and say, let's go. You'll put it behind you, as he did.
On that third interception, Michael Gallup seemed to be pretty thoroughly mugged, but there was no flag. What did you see on that play? And was that contact something that you saw before releasing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think you look around the league, a lot of quarterbacks, when they see something like that, they throw it that way to make sure, hey, throw that flag there. But as I said, it didn't happen, and you have to move on.
Dak, how do you take what y'all did in the fourth quarter and make sure you do it in 1, 2, and 3 next time?
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to have our backs against the wall to play like we did. We've got to figure out whatever it is, find out the way, or find out whatever it is to start the game like that. And when we find that, it's going to be dangerous. But until then, that's the goal, and that's what we've got to work to get to.
The Cowboys scored all 24 points in the second half, and Prescott says it's positive to see that kind of mindset from his team, to see the resiliency and that they didn't give up until the very end. However, that fight was not enough. Up next, we'll hear from more offensive players on the disappointing loss to the Packers.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Rico's products make every game a home game with Rico's. Cigna, together all the way. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
First down after the penalty at the 45. Prescott, lots of time rushed. Now deep down the left side, there's Cooper at the 30. Left sideline to the 20. Broke a tackle to the 10. Broke another one to the 5. Walks in for the touchdown. 53.
Quarterback Dak Prescott was not the only Dallas Cowboy to break a personal record in Sunday's game. Wide receiver Amari Cooper had a single-game career-high 262 receiving yards, including a 53-yard touchdown with a pretty nifty spin move. Cooper was the intended receiver in one of Prescott's 3 interceptions of the game. Post-game, Cooper says that's where his mindset was. It wasn't on the career-high receiving yards, rather the dropped pass.
You know, the only thing that's really on my mind is the drop ball and the turnover it created. Because I feel like it gave them a lot of momentum in the game. And
could you talk about that play, how it happened, and what you were thinking, what the route was?
I got it. That's what I was thinking. You know, those are the worst 3 words in football. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had it. It was an easy catch. Took my eyes off of it because I was focused on the touchdown. And I dropped it, and it created a turnover.
When a play like that happens, mentally, is it something you just let go and forget, or is it something you kind of carry with you to the forthcoming plays?
I mean, you have to try your best to let it go. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to do.
I mean, just a lot of shooting ourselves in the foot, a lot of penalties. You know what I mean? We didn't protect the ball. So I mean, tough.
So how do you feel where you guys are now that you've lost 2 in a row, you're 3-2, and these are a couple of NFC conference losses back there?
I mean, it's a long season, so we got a lot of ball left, a lot of ball ahead of us. So I mean, we just got to get back to the lab, get back to work, get in the field room, figure out, you know, what we got to do to become a better football team.
How big of an advantage is it for those guys to have 3 extra days to prepare for you guys? And you didn't.
I don't think it mattered.
Zeke, is the inconsistency in officiating getting frustrating at all?
I mean, honestly, just don't ask me about any officiating questions. I mean, I'm never going to be the guy to go out there and be like, hey, we lost because of the refs. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to look in the mirror as a team and realize that we shot ourselves in the foot too many times. It wasn't the refs. I mean, they weren't perfect. I mean, they weren't great, but I mean, we got to look in the mirror and see that there was a lot of things that we could have done or fix that we could have done to win that ball game, and not just look to blaming the refs.
When you look at these past 2 games in New Orleans, there were a lot of self-induced errors there. Same thing today. Do you guys look at these past 2 games like you're losing teams that are better than you, or is it more so we're not playing the type of football that we're capable of?
I just think we didn't play the football we're capable of playing. We didn't go out there and execute. I mean, it's going to be hard to win a ball game when you lose a turnover battle, and so I mean, yeah.
Zeke, what do you say to the people who engaged the season saying they've beaten the Giants, the Redskins, and the Dolphins, but when they face some of these top-notch teams the first 2 times around, it hasn't gone your way?
I mean, I don't really care what they say, to be honest. I know we have in this locker room. I know what type of team we have. So, I mean, I just think that we didn't come out and play our best the past 2 games, and if we want to be a playoff team, if we want to make a run for everything, we're just gonna have to play a lot better. We're gonna have to play better than we've been playing.
Elliott says this loss is a reality check. He says the team needs to play harder and use this game as fuel to improve in every aspect of their play. The Cowboys had almost 600 offensive yards and still couldn't find a way to get the job done. Coming up, Mickey Spagnola joins the set to discuss the performance of the Cowboys defense.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing.
Welcome back to Cowboys Flashback. I'm joined now by Mickey Spagnola. The Cowboys defense had their hands full with Packers running back Aaron Jones, who rushed for 4 touchdowns in Sunday's game, the first Packer to do so since Dorsey Levens in 2000, and the first player to ever rush for 4 touchdowns in a single game against the Cowboys. Mickey, why couldn't the Cowboys defense contain Jones?
Yeah, that's what really concerned me coming out of this game. You know, you went into the game worrying all about Aaron Rodgers, and if I had told you that he would finish with basically what he threw for was 238 yards and no touchdowns and a quarterback rating of 85, I would have said, I'll take that. But I can't take Aaron Jones running for 107 yards and the 4 touchdowns that Dani mentioned. Can't have that. Cowboys run defense has to be better. They have to be better up front, because what was happening is the Packers' offensive linemen not only were defeating the Cowboys' defensive linemen, but they were also getting to the second level and taking care of the linebackers a lot. So I thought that was the downfall of the Cowboys' defense, was the fact, Danny, that they just could not stop the run on a guy that, by the way, when he was a rookie, he got his first 100-yard rushing game against the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's hear from Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch after Sunday's game.
No, I mean, at one point or another, we've practiced against it. We just got to get our keys and make our fits, make tackles.
Last week you seemed to do really well against Kamara. What was the challenge that Aaron Jones was presenting today?
Just bad footwork and bad tackling. Those are tackles I shouldn't miss. And I'm going to focus on that this week in practice.
Worried about the trend at all over the last 2 weeks? I mean, although you guys are still tied for first in the division.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's beginning of October. There's still a lot of football left. When we were down a lot in this game, there was still a lot of football left. And we came back and fought, and I love the spirit of the team. I mean, we stick together through it all, and I know that we're going to use this as a growing time and a building time for us. To get closer to each other. And like I said, there's a lot of football left.
Wait, is this a reality check just about how much further you guys have to go to get to where you want to be?
Just keep trucking away, just keep fighting, doing what we do, not changing anything, not changing who we are, focusing on ourselves, and going out there and getting better every single day in practice.
How much more difficult does it make it with a guy like Aaron Rodgers who can exploit the smallest mistake he makes, especially when he gets outside the pocket?
The dude's got experience, and there's a reason he is as successful as he is. I mean, he's a hell of a player, and I mean, it's an awesome challenge going against a guy like that. It shows you where you are. It shows you what things you got to get better on, what things you got to focus on, and just use that for improvement.
So the Cowboys could use some reinforcements on that defensive line, and they might be coming with Antoine Woods, who suffered a sprained knee. It looks like he has a chance of getting back for this game.
Don't go anywhere. Up next, we'll hear from Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett and his assessment of his team's performance.
Jason Garrett is going to get a penalty flag. He took Jason Garrett, and that official had been getting into it.
Head coach Jason Garrett says the Cowboys moved the ball well throughout the game. What hurt them offensively were the 3 interceptions. What hurt them defensively? The Packers' run game. All 4 of running back Aaron Jones' touchdowns against the Cowboys were in the red zone.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue on defense. They were able to run the ball. They ran the ball inside on us when they got down in the red zone a couple times, which is really uncharacteristic of our defense. That's the thing we do as well as anything. So, do the gap discipline and just physically getting off of blocks and making plays across the board wasn't consistent enough, particularly early on in the game. I thought it got better as the game went on, but they ran the ball too easily against us.
Did they do anything you weren't expecting from film?
Not really. Not really.
What happened on the replay challenge where you were flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, obviously on that play, we had a great view of it, and they called it an incompletion. So it was such a big play in the game. You have to use your flag there. We had already challenged a potential pass interference earlier. So in that situation, you're going to have to use the flag to get the call correct, or you're not going to have that for later in the game. So obviously I didn't handle that situation as well as I should have. I knew we were going to get the play because I saw it. And unfortunately, we had to use the flag there, and he made that decision to throw a flag on me.
Do you feel some of your frustration from the side judge as to why he threw that flag on you? Did you get an explanation from the side judge as to why he threw that flag?
Yeah, that was the play where we had the big completion, and we had to correct it by me throwing a flag, and then he didn't like how I threw the flag.
Do you agree that your emotion there merited an unsportsmanlike?
That's not my decision.
Did you think it was the spiking of the flag or something you said?
I really don't know.
Did you feel there was a sense of frustration from not getting the call on the Brown interference that kind of seeped into how you reacted on that play as well?
Oh, again, it was just a big play in the game. I knew we had used the flag once, and I knew we were going to have to use it again to correct their error. And when you do that, and the first one doesn't get overturned, you're out of challenges. And so I knew that was the situation. But we had to use it in that particular situation to correct the mistake that they made. And so didn't handle it well. Our team handled it really well, though. I don't know if you saw the rest of the game after that. We completed a 26-yarder on the next play and went right down and scored. So our team did a really good job handling that adversity.
Did you think it was a poorly officiated game?
It's not my place to share my opinion about that.
Jason, should Cam Fleming have had a little more help at all during the game? Because there are times where he was getting beat in one-on-ones.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at the tape. It looked like at first glance that Cam did a good job fighting and battling. They got a good front. Certainly, you try to help them different ways with the protections you call and all of that. But I think for the most part, he stood in there and blocked fairly well, both in the run game and the pass game.
How pivotal was that play on the first drive to Amari? Do you think that changes the tenor of the game, even if it's that first drive?
The turnover?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously turnovers are critical in the game. You only have so many possessions, and you got to make sure you maximize them. And it was such a makeable play. It was a really good throw. Amari ran a good route and won, and just uncharacteristically the ball came out, and they were able to make a play. But you have to put it behind you, and you have to go to the next play.
Coming up, we'll hear from Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones and his thoughts after Sunday's loss to the Packers, including the Cowboys' unsportsmanlike conduct penalty from the bench in the third quarter. Welcome back to Cowboys Flashback after the Cowboys fall to the Packers 34-24. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones says quarterback Aaron Rodgers' performance did not disappoint against the Cowboys. He says it was hard for the Cowboys to have to try to come back from an early deficit, especially against a team with Rodgers as quarterback, someone who has never lost a game at AT&T Stadium. As for head coach Jason Garrett's unsportsmanlike penalty in the third quarter, Jones says he doesn't know what to do with that call.
Well, I think the same guy didn't bother me with much as that as he did not calling that interference call on our receiver across the middle. To me, that's his call too. So I don't know what in the world to make of all that.
Jerry, how's Lyle Collins?
I think he's fine. That's a MCL, but he didn't think, just he didn't think. I didn't talk to any of the trainers or doctors, but he didn't think it was going to be an ongoing problem for him.
Does the way this
it was not his back.
Jerry, does the way this game started, the first three quarters, is that some form of a reality check for where this team is at? Do you want every guy to kind of look back at it like that?
Well, I just know that you can get behind when you're playing these teams that you play in the NFL. You get behind that much, and you've really diminished your chances of coming out on top. On the other hand, it shows you that you can get ahead by that much, and you don't have it made at all. You can have some things go. I had hoped that the turnovers might start coming our way. They didn't. You say, well, isn't that a little bit of dreaming and praying? Yes, it is. But it does happen. We had it happen against us there early.
Jerry, Aaron Jones is the first player to ever rush for 4 touchdowns against the Cowboys in team history. What was the problem with the run defense?
Well, again, that's the story of the game were the turnovers and giving them the ball and our ups and our inability to stop the run. We think we have answers for that. We certainly didn't early have it tonight. We made 3 good stops at the end of that fourth quarter. That was encouraging. But in general, Green Bay played well enough, and they didn't make the mistakes we made, and they played well enough to win that game by probably the point spread they did. I don't think they were 31-3 better than us, but tonight they were better than us, and I accept that.
Are you worried at all about your kicker?
What?
Are you worried at all about your kicker, Maher?
Well, I'd not to be holding him every time he steps up there and makes a kick or tries for a kick. We all would like that, but certainly it's something you think about when you're trying to win by field goals. But most of the night, field goals weren't the difference here.
Jones says the team needs to get it together and turn things around to get to where they want to go. However, he says there are 16 games in the season and they've just barely passed the quarter mark, so there is still plenty of time for the Cowboys to turn it around. The Cowboys will prepare to face the New York Jets, and you can stay up to date on all Dallas Cowboys things on DallasCowboys.com. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Dani Sureck.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Academy, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys. Reliant, an NRG company. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.